In recent years, I've seen more and more creatives and people who conduct business online publicly announcing that they are leaving Instagram, like this one and this one. Most of the time, it's Instagram or Twitter, aka X, or TikTok, because these are the most popular social media platforms where people like me feel like we need to maintain an online presence and continue to grow that audience in order for our business to be discovered by new customers and nurture a relationship with our existing ones. To say that social media has changed a lot in the last 15 years is a gross understatement. I still remember as an older millennial, my first exposure to social media was Friendster and MySpace from the early 2000s, if any of you can remember. There was no algorithm, grid aesthetics, and for better, not for worse, no reels. Even in 2015, when I first started sharing my art on Instagram, it felt like a pleasant and supportive environment where creating content felt like a true form of self expression. And it didn't require me to mentally juggle about 17 different options to post and 62 different ways to optimize that content to get the most views. On the other side of the argument, the tech bros say there's no point in pining for the past. Technology is ever evolving and is changing at a rapid pace, so you either adapt or become irrelevant. They also say that social media allows us to market our content, our business for free, so don't complain because limited reach is still reach for free. Well, it's free because we are the product. Social media is not allowing us to share content out of the goodness of their heart for free. We are creating content for them for free so that they can use our data and monetize it for their business clients. There's a distinct difference. We have known this relationship dynamic between us, the users and content creators, and the social media overlords for many years, and it was working. We accepted our role as willing participants in the content making machine and felt like we were getting our rewards in the form of online connections, sales, and social validation. We didn't want the validation, but there are armies of very smart and well paid individuals that these social media overlords hired to help convince our brain that social validation mattered, being seen by hundreds of thousands of millions of people mattered. And they do that with literally lines of code. The more likes and follows we got, the more we could potentially get from new people, and the better we'd feel about ourselves, and the validation loop is complete. But over time, that validation becomes harder and harder to get. And just like any other type of addiction, we need higher dosage and intensity to satisfy that craving. Getting 20,000 views on a reel is not enough. We have to go viral with 7 million views. They reward the little guys once in a while with viral content so that they could dangle a carrot to our face and show the rest of us that, hey, it can happen to you too. And we need to do it their way, making content in currently trending format, in currently trending music to keep people on the platform longer. I guess I feel like this becomes damaging to creativity when we stay in the ecosystem for so long because the content becomes very monotonous. I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes when I scroll on Instagram, I can't tell one artist apart from the other because they're both posting a 3-second video with a bunch of words overlaid on top of a dark filtered clip of themselves working in their art studio. It's usually only 3 seconds long because you have to replay the video 6 times or hold it on pause in order to read the 100 words in small font laid overlaid on top of it. And that usually tricks the algorithm into thinking that your videos are more engaged and it will hopefully boost video views. And people don't even have the attention span to read caption anymore, so we have to hook them in with a call to action on this short clip of a video in order for them to stay on the post longer and read what we actually have to say. As I'm describing this example, I feel like I'm reaffirming the ridiculousness of this. And I know by the time you're watching this video, that trend that I just described might have already gone out of trend. It's No, I'm sure they moved on to the next thing that is hot and the hot format of the moment or the hot video length of the moment. But to add salt to the wound, none of the creators that made a video like this is getting paid. And even if they are, it's a fraction of the pennies compared to how much the social media overlords are paid. So, studies have shown that social media consumption changes our brain chemistry, even as adults, and negatively affect mental health, especially in teenagers. Unless you have no social media account, we can all realistically admit that we are a little bit addicted. Even if you don't post anything on your account, just by having an account can suck you into a vortex within seconds of opening this app. Meanwhile, Meta, who currently owns Facebook and Instagram, launched another social media app, Threads, in 2023. Since we can't satisfy their objective of literally taping our eyeballs to our screen. And I think they were also a little more panicky that people were starting to spend more time on other social media sites like X/Twitter or TikTok. But even with all of this awareness, it's still hard to quit. Without any mass exodus or policy changes, what can we do about it at the individual level? I recently came across this article called The Enshittification of TikTok. And the opening line goes, here's how platforms die. First, they are good to their users. Then, they abuse their users to make things better for their business customers. Finally, they abuse those business customers to claw back all the value for themselves. Then, they die. You might remember a time when Facebook was an engrossing part of your daily life. At least for me, it was before 2016. Now, I don't care if my account is deleted tomorrow. In fact, the only reason I still have my personal account is because it was a prerequisite for me to open a Facebook business account. Having this perspective helps me develop a more detached view on any of the platform that we might think are too big to fail and are currently thriving right now. And don't worry, if Instagram fails, Meta already has Threads as their next lifeline. Until the day comes when the winner takes all or they all go down in history, I'm taking small steps to quiet quit social media in the following ways. First, I'm logging out of the app and hiding it in a folder on my phone. Unfortunately, I still need it for my business, although, do I though? I'm slowly weaning out of daily use. Secondly, no scrolling when I first wake up, before I go to bed, while I'm waiting in line. Basically, anytime I feel like empty space needs to be filled and my brain is just scrambling for something to fill that gap. This is admittedly the hardest to do due to years of habituation and just having access to the entire World Wide Web in our hands. Third, when I'm on a social media app, I prioritize taking higher value actions, such as replying to DMs, foster connections with existing relationships, or leave thoughtful comments on other small business or personal accounts, which also trains the algorithm to show me more of them. Fourth, I've significantly reduced my frequency of posting. In 2023, I only posted 23 times, which is about 2 times a month, and this year that number has gone down even more. Lastly, I think I saw this on Instagram, ironically, but people usually purge their following list, but I recently did a purge of my follower list and removed anyone that looks like a bot or ghost account, which turned out to be around 200 so far. I haven't done a thorough cleanup yet. This process was refreshing and I felt less precious about this vanity metric followers that everyone feel like they work so hard to get. But when those followers are no longer active or they were not even real to begin with, then what is it really for? I guess I just want to close out this with if you're watching this and you came from my channel, chances are you might be a creative who's looking to start your own art business and you're thinking, well, if I can't use Instagram, what am I supposed to do? And yes, I just want to caveat this as someone who has used Instagram and is trying to wean myself out of it. Don't write it off completely from the start. Putting myself in your position, I know that you are trying every single channel possible to get your art and your business, your products out there. So, you know, I would want to say if you are using Instagram and you do want to commit to posting consistently, instead of having this expectation that what you post is supposed to be this ad that will convert to sales, treat it like your online portfolio, especially if you don't already have an online portfolio. I think Instagram serves a different purpose than a website in that chances are you can be found and people know your potential clients or customers can look at your work online instead of you trying to drive your own traffic to your website. So I do want to include that caveat and that it's all or nothing as long as you have somewhat realistic expectation of what social media can do to you, but also be mindful of what it does to your mental health as well. I want to thank you for watching, and please share in the comments below if there are any rules that you are implementing to manage your usage on social media in a healthy way, whether you are just a consumer of content, a personal account user, or a business account user. And if social media is no longer your preferred way of consuming content and keeping in touch with others, what is currently? Thank you for watching, and remember, you don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to take the next step. I'll see you next time. Bye.